24 days, that's how long Manchester United have sat and waited. No game, no competitive football, just training, a trip to Dublin and thoughts. And now Leeds United come to Old Trafford on a Monday night with everything on the line for both clubs in completely different ways. Think about what this game actually is. United are sitting third in the Premier League. Champions League football is right there, not a dream, not a target, right there. 7 points ahead of Chelsea in 6th. And 5th place now confirmed as an automatic qualifying spot. So the math is simple, don't mess it up. But Leeds are 15, 3 points above the drop. They haven't scored in 4 straight league games. 4, that's not a bad run, that's a crisis. That's a team that went to the FA Cup quarter-final, won on penalties and somehow forgot how to score in the league at the same time. And now they have to come to Old Trafford with half their squad injured against a United team that hasn't lost a home league game under Michael Carrick. But here's the part nobody's really sitting with. United haven't played in nearly a month. And that changes things, not because the quality isn't there, but because rhythm matters in football, sharpness matters. The way a team connects between the lines, that's built through games, through repetition, through pressure. And United haven't had any of that in 24 days. If you think that's not a factor, tell me in the comments because I genuinely want to hear your thinking on this. Right, before I go deeper, if you don't already know me, I'm Bella. This is Bella Mufc Analysis. And if you're new here and you actually care about real football thinking, not just highlights, not just hot takes, then hit subscribe because this is where we break it down properly. And if you're a regular, you know the deal. Like the video. Let's get into this. So, the Dublin camp, Carrick took the squad out to Carton House in Kildare. 4 days, training, bonding, preparing, and on the surface you'd say that's smart, to use the break, keep the players together, build cohesion. Bruno Fernandes said it himself, it was very important to have everyone together after a long period of internationals pulling the squad in different directions. And Bruno doesn't just say things. When he says something matters, you listen. But here's what I keep coming back to. A training camp is not a match. You can't replicate the intensity of a Premier League game in a session at a hotel in Kildare. You just can't. And so the real question is, how sharp are United going to look in those first 20 minutes? Because Leeds will be watching for that. Farke isn't stupid. He knows United are coming off a long break. His game plan probably involves pressing early, winning second balls, making Old Trafford feel uncomfortable in the opening half hour. Make United work before they find their rhythm. And the problem? United are missing their most physical presence at centre-back. Harry Maguire is suspended. Red card at Bournemouth. Matthijs de Ligt is out with a back problem. So Lisandro Martinez, who's only just come back from a calf injury, is going to partner Lenny Yoro at the heart of a defence that hasn't played together in almost a month against a Leeds team that, despite not scoring in 4 games, still has physical runners up front. Wait, think about that for a second. A makeshift centre-back partnership coming off a 24-day break against a team with nothing to lose. That is not a simple evening. Now, I'm not panicking. I want to be clear about that. Yoro has been excellent. Martinez, when fit, gives United something completely different. That intensity, that aggression, that ability to lead the line from the back. And Carrick has shown this season that he knows how to set a defensive structure that's hard to break. Under him, United have conceded far less than they did earlier in the season. That's not an accident. But this is where I want to go one level deeper because the defensive concern isn't just about the centre-backs, it's about the knock-on effect on how United build play. When Maguire plays, and I know people have complicated feelings about Maguire, he gives the midfield an extra option with the ball. He's progressive, he carries, he switches play with that left foot. Martinez is different. Martinez is a fighter. He wins his duels, he organises, he communicates, but he's less of an initiator in possession. And that matters because United's attack, especially Bruno Fernandes, relies on the ball being moved quickly and precisely from the back. If the build-up is slower, more cautious, more conservative because the defence is still finding its rhythm, then Bruno has to drop deeper to get involved. And if Bruno drops deeper, United lose that penetrating presence in the number 10 zone. That might be where Leeds actually find a foothold in this game, not from outplaying United, but from disrupting United's flow at the source. This is what worries me a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. Now let's talk about Leeds, because I think this is where it gets genuinely interesting. You've got a team that, and this is important, hasn't been broken, not really. Look at their recent results, draws, not hammerings. They drew with Crystal Palace, they drew with Brentford. Before that, a 1-1 draw at Ellen Road against United. They are a team that has made themselves hard to beat, but they've also somehow made themselves impossible to watch going forward. 4 games without a goal in the Premier League, the longest ongoing drought in the top flight. That stat should terrify Daniel Farke, and the thing is, it's not just about missing chances. It's about what happens to a team psychologically when goals stop coming. Strikers start pressing more, midfielders try too much, the rhythm of attack breaks down, and then a team that should be creating starts to freeze in the final third. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is expected to start, and for me, Calvert-Lewin is the most interesting name in Leeds' lineup. Because if he gets service, he's dangerous, he wins headers, he holds up play. He's a real centre-forward in the traditional sense, but the service has dried up. Aronson and the midfielders haven't been delivering, and that's before you factor in the absences. Anton Stach, gone. Ankle, one of their best performers this season, genuinely one of the reasons their midfield has had any shape. He got injured at West Ham in the FA Cup, and he will not be at Old Trafford. Joe Rodon, gone. Also ankle, their centre-back, their organiser, Daniel James, out too. Muscle problem. So Leeds arrive at Old Trafford, depleted, goalless, fighting relegation and trying to carry the emotional weight of an FA Cup semi-final just 2 weeks away. You tell me which way that energy goes. Does the FA Cup high carry into the league? Does the belief from beating West Ham on penalties inspire the players at Old Trafford? Or does the mental bandwidth of a Wembley semi against Chelsea take the edge off what needs to be a desperate, gritty league performance? I think, and this is just my read, I think the players who are motivated purely by survival will show up. Calvert-Lewin needs to stay in the Premier League. Aronson needs to prove he belongs. Streak, as captain, won't let the performance be soft, but the collective quality, without Stach and Rodon, on the road at Old Trafford, that's asking a lot now. Let's talk about the man who is probably already licking his lips, Bruno Fernandes. 101 chances created in the Premier League this season. That's not a typo, 101. The third time in his career he's reached a century. And we're not even at the end of the season yet. Against Leeds specifically, in 6 appearances, 8 goal involvements, 6 goals, 2 assists. That is an absurd personal record against one opponent. It's not coincidence, it's not luck. Leeds specifically seem to create space in the areas where Bruno operates, the half spaces between the lines, the zones where his movement and quick passing pull defenders out of shape. And right now, Bruno is also chasing the Premier League all-time assist record. He's won Player of the Month for March, his 6th time claiming that award in his career. He is absolutely on fire. He is in the form of a man who wants the world to see exactly what he is, a Manchester United legend already. So if you're Leeds and you're trying to set up a game plan, how do you stop him? Do you man-mark him? That frees up space for Mbeumo and Diallo out wide. Do you sit deep and accept pressure? Then you leave your already depleted attack isolated on the counter. There isn't a clean answer. There never is with Fernandes. Here's something I want to throw at you, a what-if scenario. What if United start slow? What if the 24-day rust is real in the first 20 minutes? What if Leeds press high, win a couple of second balls and create an early chance? Does that rattle this United team? Under Amorim, and this isn't a dig, it's an honest observation, United showed vulnerability when games got difficult. They dropped off, they lost shape, confidence became fragile, but under Carrick, this feels different. When things got hard against Bournemouth, they pushed for the draw. Against Arsenal, away from home, they won 3-2. There's a mentality shift, a belief, a steadiness. Carrick has installed something in this group. It's not tactical genius, it's more psychological. They believe in each other again. And that is worth more than any formation tweak, so even if Leeds make it uncomfortable early, I back United to respond. And this is where Carrick's home record becomes the story inside the story. 6 Premier League games at Old Trafford as manager, 6 wins, unbeaten. He's only behind Ancelotti, Eriksen and Pellegrini in terms of longest unbeaten home starts as a manager in the Premier League era. That is elite company. And all of it at Manchester United under the most pressure imaginable. That record isn't going to stay clean forever, but is Monday night the night it ends? Against a Leeds team with no goals in 4? I don't think so. I genuinely don't think so. Now, let me get into something I haven't heard many people talk about, the Leeds away form. Hear me out, because on the surface, people look at Leeds away this season and go, awful. 1 win in 15 away games, conceded 28 on the road, disaster. But look a little closer. They've drawn 7 of their last 8 away games, 7 in 8. Nobody has drawn more on the road this season. And on one hand, that's spineless. You want to win games. A draw away at Old Trafford is a draw. But from a Leeds perspective, in a relegation battle, a point at Old Trafford would actually be meaningful. It might keep them up. So here's the real question. Does Leeds come here to frustrate, or do they have to go for a win? 3 points above the drop, 6 games left. Other teams around them are winning. They cannot afford to treat a draw as a result. They need 3, which means they have to commit men forward, which means they leave space behind, which means Bruno and Mbumo and Cunha will eat them alive. And that leads us to Matheus Cunha, who I feel like is quietly becoming United's most dangerous weapon in the final third. 9 goal contributions this season. The Brazilian who arrived and just immediately got it. He presses, he carries, he finishes. He's different from anything United have had in a long time at that forward position. And against the Leeds defence, missing Rodon, one of their most commanding presences, Cunha running at whoever starts at centre-back is a nightmare scenario for Farke. Tell me I'm wrong. Seriously, comment section. Tell me why Leeds contain Cunha. There's also the wider picture to consider here. United don't just need to win, they need to keep winning. Chelsea away to Liverpool at home. These games are coming, and the mentality going into those fixtures is built on results like Monday. If United put in a professional performance, grind out a clean win, go to Stamford Bridge with momentum, that's a different proposition than if they scrape through. Or worse, if they drop points, because Aston Villa are right behind United. Same points, breathing down their necks. Liverpool just 5 points back. Chelsea 7. This is not done. Not even close. And here's something that doesn't get said enough. 5th place is now a Champions League spot. United found that out mid-season and it changed everything because suddenly the target became more achievable, more real, and a team that looked like they might miss out on Europe entirely is now genuinely in control of their own destiny. Carrick's job audition continues, and every home win, every clean, composed performance is a statement, not just to the fans, to the board, to Jason Wilcox, to whoever is going to make the decision on the permanent manager at the end of this season. He wants the job. That much is obvious. And you can see it in the way he speaks. Confident, measured, no panic, no excuses, just football, just solutions. I've started to think that this is the season where we actually see what a Manchester United manager is supposed to look like. Not the theatrics, not the system obsession at the cost of results, not the constant rotation and confusion. Just someone who knows the game, knows the players, communicates clearly and wins football matches. Carrick might be that person, I don't know yet, but Monday gives us more data. Right, let's bring it back to the actual game, the actual match. Predicted lineup for United, and this is based on everything available. Lamans in goal. Shaw, Martinez, Euro, Mazraoui across the back, Casemiro and Mainu in the double pivot, then the front four of Diallo, Fernandes, Mbumo and Cunha in some shape. Now, that midfield, Casemiro and Mainu, that's the most important partnership on the pitch for United, not because it's glamorous, but because it controls everything. Mainu has been excellent, quietly excellent. He doesn't always make the highlight reel, but his positioning, his short passing, his ability to receive under pressure, it's what makes Bruno free. Casemiro, when he's right, is the shield that allows Mainu to do that. He reads the danger, he intercepts. He transitions United from defence to attack in simple, efficient ways. If those two function, United control the game. Leeds can't build because the press suffocates them, and then it becomes a question of when, not if, Bruno and the forwards find the decisive moment. But, and this is a real but, Casemiro at this stage of his career isn't always right. He has moments where the legs don't carry him, where the press doesn't come, where a gap opens and suddenly United are exposed. And with a makeshift backline behind him, that gap becomes dangerous faster. I'll be honest, if I was Farke, I'd be targeting that transition moment, getting the ball into the channels early, before United's defence has settled, before Martinez and Euro have found their understanding for the evening. That first 20 minutes, that's the window. Our Tanaka could be the key player for Leeds. He might not even start. But Farke knows if you want to disrupt United's midfield, you need someone who covers ground, who breaks up play, who doesn't give Mainu and Casemiro time on the ball. Tanaka does that. He was excellent against West Ham. He might be Farke's most important tactical decision all evening. If Tanaka starts, and if Leeds set up in a compact mid-block with 2 banks of 4 and Calvert-Lewin leading the press, then this game might actually be tighter than the 61% win probability suggests. Not for 90 minutes. I don't think Leeds hold for 90 minutes, but for 50, 60, maybe. And then the question is, does Bruno have one of those nights where he's everywhere, where he's creating, shooting, dictating? Or is this a night where the game is tight and United grind it out? My gut says Bruno has a night. The record against Leeds, the form he's in, the fact that the Stretford end flags were the topic he specifically chose to talk about, that tells you his head is right, his emotion is right, he's locked in, he loves these games. The big nights, the spotlight, when the lights are on and the noise is there, Bruno doesn't shrink, he gets bigger. United win this. I believe that 3-1 is the prediction from some outlets. I think something like 2-0 or 2-1. Leeds might nick one. Just to remind everyone, they're not dead yet. But United get the job done. The home record continues. Carrick gets another 3 points. And then we look ahead, because this is what I want to leave you with. The next 6 games for Manchester United are genuinely historic in what they could represent. Not just Champions League football next season, though that would be enormous after missing out last year, but this is about who Manchester United are going to be after years of drift, of false dawns, of expensive signings and no identity. After the Glazer era, the post-Ferguson spiral, the sacking after sacking, this team under a United legend is playing with purpose, playing with fight, playing with an identity. Is it permanent? Is Carrick the answer? Is this the beginning of something real? I don't know. And I think that honest uncertainty is more valuable than pretending I have all the answers. What I do know is that Monday night matters, not just for the points, but for the story, for the season, for what United are trying to build. Leeds United come to Old Trafford desperate, depleted and dangerous in the way that corner teams always are. And United have to treat them with respect, not arrogance, not assumption. Respect. Win this game. Win it properly. And then we talk about Chelsea. Right, that's everything from me for this one. If you've made it this far, genuinely thank you. It means you actually care about the analysis, not just the noise. Drop your score prediction in the comments. Tell me, does Bruno score? Does the 24-day break show? Can Leeds actually cause problems? I read everything, I respond when I can, and your thoughts genuinely shape what I cover next. If you're not subscribed and you're new, what are you doing? Subscribe. This is the channel. This is where United gets talked about properly. I'll be back after the game. Full reaction, full analysis. I'll tell you exactly how right or wrong I was tonight. Let's see how Monday goes. Come on, United.